Hello, everyone. Welcome to this presentation that is about self-management and advocacy. My name is Owen Moore, and I have become heavily involved in the Ehlers-Danlos Society over the past year through fundraising about EDS and raising funds for the EDS Society. I'm super grateful for this opportunity to present at this virtual conference. And before I get started with my talk, I'll just give you a brief background about my connection with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So my background. The picture on the left and the right is my cousin Jamie, and she passed away from the vascular type of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome last April. And a requirement at my high school for all graduating seniors is to complete a year-long senior project about something of your interest. And after Jamie's passing, I felt super compelled to answer my call to citizenship by doing my year-long senior project about raising awareness about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and raising funds for the Ehlers-Danlos Society. After Jamie's passing, I did a lot of research about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and realized that it wasn't really a well-known medical disorder. So I knew that that was the route that I really needed to take and honor her in, my project. And then the picture in the middle is my other connection to the EDS Society, which was I participated in the EDS Society's ECHO advocacy program, and I participated in all 7 sessions with other advocates, and it was just a really rewarding experience for me, and it really helped me become more involved in the EDS Society and community. So now I'm just going to talk about my reflections from ECHO. The picture on the right is, what my typical screen looked like through all the sessions that I completed with, all the advocates, Janie Weber, Laura Bloom. And it was just a great way for me to talk to different people from around the world and see what they were doing, to bring more awareness to these disorders, in their community. So for those of you that don't know, ECHO is an all teach, all learn platform, and it really focuses on advocacy and awareness. Although each session was kind of broken into a different subcategory. So we talked about fundraising, social media, state lobbying, national lobbying, things like that. And like I stated before, people from all over the world were a part of this. And I had a lot of great takeaways from it. I learned that, when we're advocating for these conditions, you need to really represent the entire community as a whole. We're representing 14 different subtypes. So you can't just focus on one, it needs to be all of them. In that when advocating, the information needs to be accurate. You can't be going around spreading unreliable information, because we as a group need to be taken seriously, and it makes us credible. So I didn't really want to, talk about this for too long. I just wanted to share my reflections. But, if anyone is given the chance to participate in ECHO, I really, really recommend it. It's so worth it. And it really just, opened a lot of doors for me in the EDS community. And I think it would be a great help to anyone that's, interested in either advocating for themselves, a family member, or just looking to, find a way to make change. So now I'll talk about my own experience with advocacy. So as I stated before, I did a year-long project about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome through my high school, and really the heart of my project was about bringing more awareness to these conditions and to honor my cousin Jamie. I did mention that I was raising funds for the Ehlers-Danlos Society as part of my project, but that was just kind of an added bonus for me. It wasn't really the heart of my project. I knew that I needed to get the information out there so people, knew more about these conditions. So I'll start with the picture on the left. That was at my Ehlers-Danlos awareness ride at a local gym. And I had about 62 riders in total. And all the proceeds went to the Ehlers-Danlos Society. I raised over $2,000. And it was just a really great day to get the whole community involved. And, for people to come out and support me, my project, and just the Ehlers-Danlos community in general. And then the photo in the middle is of me presenting to a health class at my high school. I created like a quick 10-minute presentation about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and I created a worksheet for the students to fill out while I was presenting. And it was just another great way for me to kind of have some more community engagement with my project. Students were understanding what these conditions are, and the feedback that I got was really great. So that was just another great opportunity for me to get myself out there, and for me to advocate and bring more awareness to these conditions. And then the photo on the farthest right is a picture of me at my high school's local homecoming games, and I just had a little table. It was really my first event for my senior project. I had a bunch of EDS pamphlets printed for people to take so they could, possibly look at it later on and, see what these conditions entailed and things like that. I had my awareness bracelets that I had made. Those were for sale. I had some gift cards and a raffle basket if people were interested in, entering a chance to win, and all those proceeds went to the Ehlers-Danlos Society. So, it's just, my experience has been really, really rewarding, and it's been really great to see, how I've been able to make a difference in my community. So now I'll just kind of take you through the steps that I took to be able to make this change. So the road to making a difference, what I've really found is that getting yourself out there is super, super important. I know in the beginning of my project, it doesn't have to be a project, even if you just have an awareness effort that you want to, carry through, or, advocacy plans that you want to, get off the ground. It's just super important to get yourself out there, and, it makes you more confident in speaking about, these conditions. I know at first for me, I was super nervous. I was like, are people going to really, care about what this is? But you just have to be confident in what you're doing, and it will totally make a difference. And, anyone can make a difference as long as they have the right tools to spread the proper information. And, starting this journey in the fall, I never would have thought that I'd be making as big of a difference, or what I thought I'd be presenting in front of all of you today. It was just another school project for me, but it really has opened me up to a whole community and family that will forever be a part of my life. And, now I'm more excited than ever to learn more about EDS and HSD, and to make it known to the community how important treatment is for these people living with these conditions. So now I'll just kind of take you through some kind of tips and tricks that I have, that I've really learned along my journey. So self-management is, really a the foundational basis of advocacy and awareness work. The first step, obviously, is you want to be organized mentally to advocate for others living with these conditions, knowing and understanding the big ideas about these conditions. And that's something that I kind of already spoke upon earlier, but that's what they really stressed in the ECHO advocacy program, was that the information needs to be accurate and reliable. It's how people take us seriously as a group. And not only that, but that's how the correct information is spread, and that's how change occurs. If the information is consistent, we're able to get the changes that we need to get these patients the proper treatment. And the second step is sharing that information with the community in a concise manner, so that they understand the big ideas and concepts about EDS and HSD, which I found was a super important part about my project, because you can really get lost in the weeds when talking about what Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is, or hypermobile spectrum disorder is. There's just so many moving parts to it that you can go off on many different tangents. So I found that it's really important to provide a factual example and an analogy to really help people understand what these conditions are. So the factual example for Ehlers-Danlos syndrome would be, EDS is a group of 14 inherited connective tissue disorders. And the hallmark symptoms usually present across all 14 subtypes as joint hypermobility, skin hyperextensibility, and tissue fragility. And the analogy for that would be that someone living with EDS is like a house built with faulty building material. Or you could use the rope analogy with the collagen. The collagen isn't as tightly wrapped like a braid or a rope. It's very messy and tangled, so it's not able to provide the support for major organ systems like tissues, muscles, bone, and more. And then the third step from all of this is that hopefully it sparks curiosity in your community, that people want to either they find an interest, or they want to help advocate for people living with these conditions. And that's really the overall goal, is getting that community involvement and support for those living with these conditions. And that's how the Ehlers-Danlos support system grows, and the advocates for this community grow, is by sparking interest. And through my project, I was able to spark interest in my community, and people wanted to donate and do their part, or wanted to help or be a part of my events. And that's what is really important to this, is that you're getting that support. And that's what really makes this all worth it. So now I'll talk about goals and what is achievable. You want to have learning goals, awareness, and fundraising goals. Each experience that you have as an advocate is always there's always an educational takeaway. And at the beginning of my project, I set a bunch of goals, which included, that I wanted to learn more about the medical aspects of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and hypermobile spectrum disorder, but I also wanted to learn more about hosting an event, and bringing more awareness to a rare disorder that many people don't know about in my community. But what's most important is that, I just messed up. Can we pause?
Yeah. Take a step back and just say, I'm going to restart. You want to go back a slide, or what do you want to do?
I'll just restart this slide.
Okay. All right. That's cool. All right. I'll go ahead and mute. You can just start from scratch. Okay. But as soon as I mute, just again count to 2, so there's a pause break. Then we can go ahead and change. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I'll pause.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about goals and what is achievable. Of course, when advocating, you want to have some sort of goals to achieve through the money you raise or events you hold. There are also learning goals and awareness and fundraising goals. There's always an educational takeaway from all the advocacy work that you do. At the beginning of my project, I set a bunch of goals, whether they were learning or awareness or fundraising goals. More learning was that I wanted to learn more about the medical aspects of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and hypermobile spectrum disorder. The other goals included, I wanted to learn how to successfully host a fundraiser, or others included that I wanted to learn how to properly raise awareness about a rare disorder that many people didn't know about in my community. And your advocacy experience could solely be about learning and development. Like, it doesn't always have to include fundraising. But I think it's just super important to, always have those funds being raised, because that's how we, provide more research opportunities and tools for those researching about these conditions. And that leads to more answers and better treatment paths for people living with EDS and HSD. And overall, goals really lay the foundation for your advocacy work and keep you focused when trying to maintain your awareness efforts. So now I'll talk about resources and how to get your message across. The EDS Society has some great pamphlets and printable materials to use when raising awareness. I know at a lot of the events that I held, the picture in the middle is actually from my awareness ride. I had a bunch of the pamphlets printed out. We actually had some little goodie bags that I had the pamphlets in for people to take home with them. And it's just a great way to, really spread that awareness. And it really acts as a reference or a guide for people that want to learn more. Sometimes, like I said before, it gets very complex when explaining these conditions. So the pamphlets really provide a clear-cut guide for people to be like, oh, hey, this is what it is. And, these are the 14 subtypes and so forth. And then there also are the pamphlets that explain the work that the Ehlers-Danlos Society does. So it really just helps paint the big picture for people that are looking to either just, take a quick peek or just to learn more. And then I'll talk about refinement and reflection. And I think this part is one of the vitalist parts of the whole advocacy and awareness process. And it's important to look back on your experience and to see what you did well and to see where you need improvement. That's really important. I know throughout my project, I made lists of questions that I asked myself to look back at the experiences. I journaled and talked about each experience. It's crucial to see, what you took away and how it made you a better advocate. And, at the end of the day, it will make you a better advocate if you can recognize your strengths and weaknesses and, what you can really do better and so forth. And all of these steps are important in bringing more awareness to these conditions and helping those get better treatment. So now I'll go on to my closing slide, and I'll leave you with this quote by Eckhart Tolle, and it is, "Awareness is the greatest agent for change." And I just really love this quote because I feel like it really summarizes the steps to making change or making a difference. And I feel like it really ties into the 4 pictures that I have on the bottom, which kind of just bring it all full circle. The big ideas of self-management and advocacy, which is, first you want to be able to represent the big ideas, which is the light bulb. You want to, clear cut ideas about what EDS and HSD are. That's important. And then the heart represents the awareness and advocacy work, what you want people to feel when you're advocating. And then the interlocking bolts represents your awareness efforts at work in the community, changing and introducing people to new things. And the talking bubble represents the curiosity and engagement in the community after advocating. And it really just brings it all full circle and, just shows how laying the foundation for yourself is super beneficial to providing reliable information to the community. And all these really contribute to the success you have when raising awareness and the impact you have on your community. And that really poses the question too, how will you impact your community with your advocacy work about EDS and HSD? So now on to my thank yous. Thank you all for watching this talk about self-management and advocacy. Huge thank you to Laura Bloom, Shani Weber, Stacy Simmons, and the entire EDS Society for giving me this opportunity to present in front of you all. And it's just a really huge honor to do this and to be a part of the first virtual conference. And I look forward to continuing my work with the EDS Society. And I look forward to doing more advocacy work in the future. So thank you.